What if the most powerful water purification technology on Earth wasn't invented in a lab? What if it wasn't patented by a corporation? What if it didn't require a filter cartridge, an electricity supply, or a monthly subscription? What if it was invented 4,000 years ago by the Egyptians? Here's what I'm about to show you. A $2 piece of copper wire and a zinc strip combined with basic chemistry can remove 99.9% of chlorine, bond to deadly heavy metals like lead, mercury, and arsenic, and reduce harmful bacteria including E. coli and salmonella by 97.7%. NASA used this exact science to keep astronauts alive in space. The EPA officially confirmed it in 2008, and the water filter industry, worth over $30 billion, has spent decades making sure you keep buying their $80 plastic cartridges. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are never going to look at a glass of water the same way again. Let's go back to 2400 BC. In ancient Egypt, physicians were already storing water in copper vessels to keep it safe. Through thousands of years of observation, they knew water stored in copper stayed cleaner and made people less sick. They weren't alone. Greeks used copper on warships. Romans carried it on campaigns across 3 continents. Even the Aztecs, completely isolated, discovered the same principle. Copper kept water safe. This was the oldest clinical trial in human history, and the result was always the same. Copper works. Modern scientists finally found out why. In just 16 hours, copper destroys 97.7% of bacteria at the cellular level. It's called the oligodynamic effect, the ability of certain metals to kill microorganisms in tiny concentrations. A self-sterilizing container used thousands of years before antibiotics were ever invented. Copper alone is powerful, but when you pair copper with zinc, something even more remarkable happens. In chemistry, this is called a galvanic cell. When they make contact inside water, they create 2 electrodes. Electrons flow from the zinc toward the copper, generating a tiny continuous electrical current. That current accelerates the release of ions. Bacteria, algae, fungi, they cannot survive in the presence of this ionic field. The reaction also causes heavy metals, lead, mercury, arsenic, to bond to the surface. They don't end up in your body. This has a formal name in the industry, KDF55. One of the most effective water purification media ever discovered. The raw material cost? Under $10, and it lasts up to 6 years. Compare that to the standard model, $80 cartridges replaced every few months. Over 6 years, that's nearly $2,000 spent on plastic waste. $2,000 for a job that $10 of copper and zinc does better. It's time to stop paying for the plastic. Here's what makes this impossible to dismiss. This isn't fringe science. This is validated at the highest levels of scientific authority on Earth. NASA. When engineers were designing life support for the Apollo missions, they needed a way to keep water safe with no filter replacements mid-mission. Their solution? Copper and silver ionization. The same principle the Egyptians used was trusted by NASA in 1969 to keep astronauts alive in space. The EPA. In 2008, after rigorous testing, they officially registered 275 copper alloys as the first solid-surface antimicrobial materials. This was the EPA formally acknowledging what ancient civilizations knew millennia ago. Copper is a living metal that destroys microbial life. This is not alternative medicine. This is not a YouTube hack. This is peer-reviewed, government-certified, space program-validated science. The science is settled. The question is, why are you still paying for plastic? Here's what makes this impossible to dismiss. This isn't fringe science. This is validated at the highest levels of scientific authority on Earth. NASA. When engineers were designing life support for the Apollo missions, they needed a way to keep water safe with no filter replacements mid-mission. Their solution? Copper and silver ionization. The same principle the Egyptians used was trusted by NASA in 1969 to keep astronauts alive in space. The EPA. In 2008, after rigorous testing, they officially registered 275 copper alloys as the first solid-surface antimicrobial materials. This was the EPA formally acknowledging what ancient civilizations knew millennia ago. Copper is a living metal that destroys microbial life. This is not alternative medicine. This is not a YouTube hack. This is peer-reviewed, government-certified, space program-validated science. The science is settled. The question is, why are you still paying for plastic? So if this technology is 4,000 years old, NASA approved, and costs under $10, why doesn't everyone know about it? Let me introduce you to the water filter industry's business model. It is not built on selling you a product, it is built on selling you a subscription. The profit comes from the cartridges, $80 every few months, forever. The moment you stop buying cartridges, the system stops working. It is, by design, a dependency machine. A copper-zinc system breaks that model entirely. One purchase, 6 years of use, no cartridges, no subscriptions, no replacement parts. Unlike plastic cartridges, which go straight to landfill, copper and zinc are fully recyclable materials used by human civilizations for thousands of years. The industry knows about KDF. Many high-end systems use it internally. They just don't tell you that you could replicate the core function yourself for $10 at a hardware store. They're selling you a subscription. We're showing you a solution. The question is, why are you still paying for the plastic? It's time to break the dependency. Here is how you build the DIY earth filter, a 2-stage purification system you can make today for under $10. What you need: 14-gauge copper wire, a zinc strip, activated charcoal, and a clean glass jar. That's it. Stage 1. The galvanic purification. Twist the copper and zinc together. This contact activates the galvanic reaction. Place the coil in your water. For optimal results, let it sit for 16 hours while the galvanic cell destroys bacterial cell walls. Stage 2. The carbon filtration. Pour the water through activated charcoal to remove residual chemicals and improve the taste. Together, these stages handle bacteria, heavy metals, and chlorine. A $10 solution that works. Simple, effective, affordable. It's time to take control of your water. Stay curious. Now I'm going to do something most viral videos don't do. I'm going to tell you what this system cannot do. It's not a magic solution. It does not reliably remove pesticides or herbicides. For those, you need activated carbon or reverse osmosis. It's not effective against parasitic cysts like Giardia. Their protective shells prevent copper ions from penetrating. For these, you need boiling, UV treatment, or a certified 1-micron filter. Always layer your protection. Use this system for what it does extraordinarily well: bacteria, heavy metals, and chlorine. It's a powerful tool when used correctly. A scientifically validated, almost free tool that outperforms products costing 200 times as much. Use it wisely. 4,000 years ago, an Egyptian physician carved instructions for clean water onto a stone tablet. In 1969, NASA engineers trusted the same science with astronauts' lives. In 2008, the EPA put it in writing. Copper kills bacteria on contact, and today you can replicate it for $8 and 20 minutes. The Egyptians didn't have a filter subscription. The Romans didn't have a cartridge replacement plan. They had copper, and it worked for 4 millennia before anyone tried to sell you a plastic alternative. Share this video, build this system, and the next time someone charges you $80 for a filter cartridge, you'll know exactly what they're not telling you. If this opened your eyes, subscribe, because this channel exists for one reason: the solutions that actually work without the markup. Break the dependency. Stay curious. I'll see you in the next investigation.